One thing I tend to see a lot here online, particularly, is often from Brits on Facebook posts or others, kind of saying, I'm a lorry driver, my wife's in childcare, do you think we'll get a job? And I think there's lots of misunderstandings about work here. And the question that everyone always goes back to with all these people is, have you got an EU passport? Because if you haven't, you're not getting no job. Now, for me personally, the way I'm living and working here is I run my own business. I've got my own, digital nomad style income, I suppose. It's a job I've had for a long time. I just work for myself and run a UK business here. Now, my plan when I moved here was to register a business in Cyprus and move everything over. Now, I haven't done that for a number of reasons, and I'll do another video about that, a longer one probably, about why. But I think people need to understand a bit more about what it is like here, especially like the lorry driver thing. Yeah, we don't have Arctics so much. We have, much smaller, transport because it's a much smaller place. So the infrastructure you have in the UK or in another country across Europe isn't the same as it is here. It's not even close. And, you've got a number of bigger cities, but, they're not London sized. They're not New York sized. They're much, much smaller with a much, much smaller population. I don't think people always factor that in. And I say this as someone who didn't factor it in. I say this as someone who just moved on a whim and thought about it afterwards. And also, like, I'm not really aware about local wages, but recently I have been informed of that. And I've seen a couple of posts as well, like where people working in retail or hospitality in some places are earning like €45 for a 12-hour shift. Now, can you imagine earning 40 quid for working 12 hours at home? Like, no. I think the average hourly rate for hospitality is around €5 or €6 an hour. And you tend to find that Cypriots or other people who are on a local salary here, so they're not always Cypriots, so often Europeans or other people who work here, they'll often have more than one job, and that is the reality for a lot of people. I, by definition, I'm probably filthy rich in comparison. And I think that is one of the things that we don't think about when we're moving places and we're taking up that space. And, it's definitely a problem here with, the average salary for a Cypriot or an average local person, however you want to use that definition, is like about 1,000 to 1,300 a month after tax. And it's genuinely crazy when you think